Most people believe that wealth is complicated. They believe it takes secret formulas, long hours, and impossible luck to become rich. But that is not true. Getting rich is brutally simple. So simple that it offends the logical mind. The truth is that life gives to you exactly what you prepare yourself to receive. You do not chase wealth. You align yourself with it. You create the inner condition where abundance has no choice but to flow toward you. Every word you speak, every thought you think, every belief you hold is shaping your financial destiny right now. Words are not mere sounds. They are commands to the invisible power that shapes your life. When you declare, "Money comes easily and frequently," you are not describing your reality. You are creating it. The outer world obeys the inner decree. But when you say, "I never have enough," you are equally creating that condition. The law does not care what you speak. It only obeys the vibration of your belief. The universe is impersonal but exact. It mirrors what you send out. If you want to change your bank balance, you must first change your mental balance. Poverty is not a condition of the wallet. It is a condition of the mind. There are people with very little who think richly, and abundance begins to find them. And there are people with plenty who think poorly, and loss begins to chase them. The invisible law cannot be tricked. It responds not to appearances but to energy. The poor man who blesses money, who gives thanks even for the little he has, opens the door to more. The rich man who fears loss shuts that same door tight. The key to all wealth is not money itself. It is belief in plenty, belief that the universe is overflowing with supply. Your imagination is the factory of your fortune. When you imagine yourself prosperous, healthy, and free, you are not daydreaming. You are issuing a command. The picture you hold in your mind is the blueprint life will build for you. If you see yourself struggling, you have ordered more struggle. If you see yourself expanding, you have ordered more opportunities. Imagination is the language of the divine. Speak it wisely. Feel as though you already possess the thing you desire. Feel it so deeply that no outer condition can shake that inner conviction. The moment you speak a word of lack, you cut your own supply line. You might say, "But I only said it once." Once is enough. The law is literal. It takes your words and sets creation in motion. When you declare something with emotion, it is sealed. That is why you must be vigilant with your speech. Speak only abundance, even when you cannot see it. Speak it when the bills come due. Speak it when the doors close. The invisible power tests your faith not when things are easy, but when they appear hopeless. Those who hold the word of abundance even in the storm are those who inherit peace and plenty. There is a hidden rhythm to wealth. Those who align with it move effortlessly. Those who fight against it struggle endlessly. This rhythm begins with gratitude. Gratitude is the magnet of miracles. When you give thanks for what you have, you multiply it. When you complain about what you lack, you divide it. Every time you bless a small sum, you prepare yourself to handle a large one. Every time you curse a bill, you delay your prosperity. Life cannot trust wealth to one who resents it. Gratitude makes you safe for riches. To receive, you must first give. Giving is not losing. It is planting. Whatever you send out comes back multiplied. If you give love, you receive love. If you give fear, you receive fear. The same law governs money. When you give freely, without fear of loss, you declare your faith in abundance, and abundance answers you. But when you hold tightly, believing there is not enough, you block the flow. The measurer's hand is closed not only to others but also to the universe. The open hand receives endlessly. Many people pray for prosperity, but their hearts whisper the opposite. They say, "I want more." Yet they feel unworthy of it. They ask for wealth but expect lack. The universe listens not to the words of the mouth, but to the feelings of the heart. If your feeling is doubt, your request is cancelled. Faith is the currency of the unseen. The moment you truly believe, the thing you seek begins to move toward you. You may not see it yet, but it is coming. Through ideas, through people, through sudden opportunities. Faith turns invisible supply into visible manifestation. There is a great difference between wishing and knowing. Wishing is weak. Knowing is power. When you know you are rich in essence, the world begins to rearrange itself around that truth. You no longer beg the universe, you command it. You stop saying, "I hope," and begin saying, I expect. The one who expects abundance meets it everywhere. The one who doubts abundance walks past opportunities without seeing them. The rich mind recognizes gold even when it appears as dust. The law of prosperity is exact and unchanging. What you radiate, you attract. If you radiate joy, money flows toward you. If you radiate fear, it flows away. Money is simply energy, it seeks harmony. It is drawn to confidence, purpose, and clarity. It avoids confusion, self-pity, and resentment. You cannot fake energy. You must become abundance itself. Think rich, speak rich, act rich. Bless everything around you. Pay every bill with gratitude. Treat money as a friend, not a master. The world may tell you that you need connections, degrees, or luck. But the law of abundance is no respecter of persons. It does not care where you were born, what you look like, or how much you have right now. It only cares about your vibration, your inner certainty that you are already provided for. The invisible power never withholds. It is man's doubt that blocks the flow. When you stop doubting, the stream begins to move. Wealth does not come to those who chase it with fear. It comes to those who rest in faith. You must stop worrying about how it will come. That is not your concern. Your only task is to hold the image, speak the word, and act as though it were already done. Life will handle the details. The money will appear through the path of least resistance. Sometimes through work, sometimes through gifts, sometimes through ideas. But it will appear. It must, for the law cannot fail. Getting rich is brutally simple. It is not about effort, it is about alignment. The moment you think richly, speak richly, and feel richly, you become a magnet for riches. The outer world has no choice but to mirror your inner state. The universe is lavish, generous, abundant beyond measure. The question is not whether it will provide. It always does. The only question is, are you ready to receive? Wealth begins in thought, not in toil. Everything that exists in your outer world first began as an invisible idea. The car you drive, the house you live in, the money in your account, each began in someone's mind long before it appeared in material form. Thought is the seed, and the physical world is merely its harvest. Those who try to change the harvest without changing the seed are forever trapped in struggle. They labor harder, chase opportunities, and exhaust themselves, but the same results return again and again, because the root remains the same. The soil of the mind must be cultivated before new fruit can appear. When your thoughts are rich, the outer world cannot help but mirror that richness. Every person carries a certain atmosphere of thought. Some radiate poverty, worry, fear, resentment, and scarcity, and everything they touch reflects that vibration. Others radiate wealth, confidence, gratitude, and expectation of good, and life obeys their inner command. The mind is a magnet. Whatever you hold there long enough, whether it be abundance or lack, will begin to appear around you. The person who constantly thinks of bills, debts, and limitation is unknowingly creating more of it, while the one who keeps his thought on plenty is quietly drawing it nearer. There is no mystery to wealth. It is simply the outpicturing of your habitual thoughts. You can toil endlessly and still remain poor if your inner life is filled with doubt and fear. You can work only a few hours yet prosper greatly if your thought is clear, powerful, and aligned with abundance. The world believes effort produces wealth, but effort without consciousness is wasted energy. There are those who rise early, labor all day, and sleep in worry, never realizing that their thoughts of struggle cancel out their actions of work. The universe does not reward exhaustion, it rewards alignment. When your thought is harmonious with supply, opportunities unfold effortlessly. Ideas come to you. Right people appear. You are guided to take the exact step that opens new doors. It looks like luck to others, but it is the precise effect of a cause within thought. Is not a weak vapor. It is substance, more powerful than steel. The invisible always controls the visible. When you hold a thought with emotion and conviction, you impress it upon the universal mind, and the law of correspondence begins to work. The outer world reorganizes itself to match the image within. This is why all creation begins in silence, in the unseen realm of imagination. When you think wealth, you plant the invisible pattern of it. When you think poverty, you plant that as well. The soil does not argue. It simply grows whatever seed you drop. The one who learns to govern his thoughts becomes the master of his destiny. You cannot control every event, but you can control the vibration you emit. Life mirrors that vibration faithfully. A calm and confident mind draws calm and confident circumstances. A fearful mind attracts chaos. Wealthy people are not always those who began with riches, but those who learn to maintain wealthy thoughts even in lean times. They think of expansion when others think of survival. They imagine possibility when others see walls. They do not let the outer appearance dictate their inner knowing. Their thought leads, and the world follows. You cannot hold two opposing thoughts and expect harmony. If you say, "I desire wealth," but secretly think, "It will never come," the universe receives confusion. Thought must be single and unwavering. The law responds to clarity. The moment you truly decide that abundance is your birthright, and that it already exists for you in the invisible, the process begins. You may not see immediate results, but the cause has been set. The harvest will come in its appointed time. Doubt and impatience uproot the seed before it can sprout. Faith waters it. Gratitude grows it. Silence protects it. What you think every day you are building, brick by brick. In the unseen, your daily mental conversation determines your wealth far more than your physical actions. You may spend hours working, but if your inner talk is filled with, "I can't afford that," "Money is hard to make," or "Things never work out for me," you are canceling your own prosperity. The law of mind does not understand humor or casual complaint. It takes every word as a command. You are constantly instructing the universe how to treat you. Every thought of limitation is an order to reduce your supply. Every thought of abundance is an invitation for more. The mind does not rest, it is always creating, even in idle moments. That is why discipline of thought is the highest form of labor. When you master your thinking, you master your wealth. Imagination is the workshop where riches are first shaped. You must see yourself as abundant long before the evidence appears. Feel the comfort of plenty, the joy of freedom, the peace of financial ease. When that feeling becomes familiar, your outer world will start to rearrange to match it. People often say, "I will feel rich when I have money," but the law works in reverse. You will have money when you feel rich. The inner state always precedes the outer condition. The mind that habitually pictures wealth becomes a magnet for opportunities, ideas, and favorable circumstances. What you imagine with feeling is what you eventually experience in form. Energy follows attention. Whatever you focus on expands. If you constantly observe what is missing, you enlarge the absence. If you focus on what you have, you amplify it. Gratitude is a tool to shift your thought toward wealth. By giving thanks for even the smallest provision, you align your vibration with abundance. The grateful person attracts more to be grateful for. The complaining person attracts more to complain about. The difference between the rich and the poor is not the amount of money in their pockets, but the habitual direction of their thoughts. One sees supply everywhere. The other sees lack in everything. Work alone does not create wealth, but inspired work. Work guided by clear thought does. When your mind is tuned to abundance, your actions are efficient and fruitful. Ideas come with ease, solutions appear naturally. You are not pushing against the current but flowing with it. The right opportunities find you because your vibration matches theirs. This is why two people can work the same job, one prospering and the other struggling. The difference lies in thought, not labor. One sees every task as a doorway to increase, the other sees only obligation. Thought colors everything it touches. The mind must be trained like a garden. If left unattended, weeds of fear and doubt will grow. You must consciously plant thoughts of wealth every day. Read words that inspire faith. Speak affirmations that strengthen confidence. Surround yourself with people who think richly. Guard against gossip, complaint, and negativity, for they pull your vibration downward. Each time you think a thought of prosperity, you water the seed of your future. Each time you indulge in worry, you poison it. The choice is yours, and it is made moment by moment. It is not enough to think wealth once, and then return to old patterns. The thought must become habitual, automatic, your natural state. The wealthy person does not need to remind themselves constantly. Abundance has become their normal vibration. This is why mental repetition is so powerful. Every time you affirm abundance, visualize success, or speak gratitude, You are training your subconscious mind to accept wealth as truth. The subconscious then begins to attract conditions that match it, without effort, without strain. What you truly believe becomes your environment. The greatest illusion is that wealth comes from outside sources. It may appear to arrive through a job, a business, or an inheritance, but those are only channels. The source is always within. The outer channels change according to your inner state. When you raise your consciousness, new channels open effortlessly. You may be guided to a new idea, meet the right person, or stumble upon an opportunity. But it is never chance. It is the law responding to your thought. The world rearranges itself to reflect your inner certainty. The person who knows this stops chasing money and begins cultivating thought, for they understand that wealth begins and ends in the mind. Words of abundance create the reality of abundance. Every word you speak carries vibration, and that vibration sets unseen forces into motion. You are constantly sending out commands to life through your speech, and those commands are obeyed with exact precision. The spoken word is creative. It shapes, molds, and directs energy. When you speak words of prosperity, health, and success, you align yourself with the flow of abundance. When you speak words of fear, lack, or complaint, you block that flow. There is no neutral speech. Every word builds or destroys, blesses or curses, expands or contracts. The universe listens not only to your prayers but to your everyday words. Each phrase you utter becomes a seed that will eventually grow into your experience. You may not realize it, but your conversation about money is your prophecy about it. When you say, "I never have enough," you are writing that law into your life. When you declare, "Money flows easily to me," you are opening the gates of supply. The universe cannot distinguish between a serious statement and a casual remark. It only registers vibration. A passing joke about being broke carries the same energy as a confession of lack. Every complaint reinforces limitation. Every word of gratitude increases abundance. The law is impersonal. It does not favor one person over another. It simply mirrors the frequency of your words. There is tremendous creative power in affirmation. When you speak a truth as though it already exists, you summon it from the unseen into form. The outer world is slow to catch up, but the process begins the instant the word is spoken in faith. Say, "I am prosperous." And even if your pockets are empty, you have sent the command to the invisible. The forces of life begin to rearrange people, opportunities, and circumstances to fulfill that declaration. Doubt delays it. Faith accelerates it. Words spoken with conviction are like arrows that never miss their target. They pierce through appearances and plant themselves in the realm of cause. Your words are not only heard by others, they are heard by your subconscious mind. It believes everything you tell it. If you constantly say, "I can't afford that," your subconscious ensures you never can. It takes your speech as instruction. But when you speak words of ability, worth, and plenty, it aligns your thoughts and actions to match. You begin to see chances you overlooked before. You attract ideas and people who can help you. The outer change is simply the echo of the inner command. That is why wise people are careful with their language. They understand that idle words are not idle in effect. Each one is a cause with a corresponding result. The vibration of your words determines the atmosphere of your life. A person who continually speaks joy and gratitude carries a magnetic energy that draws good things. People want to be around them. Opportunities seem to find them. They may not even realize they are creating this with their speech, but they are. Another person might work harder, but if they speak in terms of failure, struggle, and limitation, their energy repels the very things they desire. Words create atmosphere, and atmosphere attracts conditions. If you desire abundance, speak abundance until it feels natural. Your language must match the reality you wish to create. Every time you bless something, you multiply it. When you bless your money, your work, your home, you infuse them with energy of increase. Blessing acknowledges the good already present, and acknowledgement expands it. When you curse or criticize, you freeze that flow. Saying, "This is never enough," stops multiplication. Saying, "I am grateful for every dollar," invites more. The spiritual law of increase responds to appreciation. You cannot receive more of what you resent. Gratitude is the voice of abundance, and it must be spoken aloud until it becomes your natural tone. Many people believe they are describing their circumstances when they speak, but they are actually creating them. When you say, "Business is slow," you are not reporting facts, you are ordering them to continue. The moment you speak limitation, you seal it in place. The moment you speak expansion, you begin to dissolve limitation. The power lies not in the outer condition, but in your declaration about it. Even when everything appears lacking, you can speak abundance and shift the tide. Words of truth have authority over appearances. What you claim with conviction must eventually appear, because the word is law in motion. The energy of speech builds momentum. A single negative statement might seem small, but repeated daily it becomes a powerful pattern. Words carve grooves in the subconscious, and once a groove is deep enough, life runs through it automatically. That is why it is so difficult for some to break financial struggle. It has become habitual speech. To reverse it, one must consciously build a new vocabulary of abundance. Replace "I can't" with "I can." Replace "I never" with "I always." Replace "it's too hard" with "it's unfolding easily." At first it feels unnatural, but repetition reprograms the mind. Soon the new pattern becomes natural, and the outer world follows. The new language. Speech and emotion together are the strongest creative force. Words spoken without feeling are weak, but words spoken with conviction become commands. When you speak with enthusiasm, gratitude, and certainty, you charge your words with energy that moves mountains. Whispering, "I am rich," while feeling poor does little, but saying it with joy, as though it were already true, shifts your entire vibration. The universe responds not to empty phrases but to words alive with belief. This is why affirmations are most powerful when felt deeply. The emotion is the electricity that powers the word. The tongue is the rudder of life. It may seem small, but it directs the entire course of your experience. When you turn your words toward abundance, you turn your life toward prosperity. When you turn them toward complaint, you steer into scarcity. Every conversation is a choice of direction. You can speak from the world of appearances or from the world of truth. The wise speak only what they desire to see, not what they fear to experience. They understand that to describe lack is to extend it, but to declare abundance is to awaken it. Your future is being written every day through your speech. Silence is also part of the creative process. When you cannot speak good, remain silent until you can. Do not repeat the language of fear that others use. Guard your ears as well as your tongue. Words heard often enough sink into the subconscious. Surround yourself with speech that uplifts, with conversations that affirm possibility. Read words that declare truth. Listen to voices that speak increase. Let every sound that enters your mind be an echo of abundance. You are constantly programming your reality through the language you accept and the language you express. There is great power in the phrase, "I am." Whatever follows those two words becomes your command to the universe. Say, "I am tired," and you call more fatigue. Say, "I am blessed," and you summon blessings. "I am prosperous." "I am worthy." "I am guided." These are keys that unlock abundance. The "I am" statement connects you to the divine power that creates worlds. When you misuse it, you limit yourself. When you use it wisely, you align with limitless supply. Every time you say, "I am," pause and listen to what follows, for you are shaping your world with that declaration. Your words must match your desire, even before evidence appears. It is easy to speak abundance when the money is flowing, but the test of power is to speak it when you have none. The unseen responds to unwavering faith. When you declare, "I am rich," while appearances say otherwise, you are proving mastery. You are standing in truth, not illusion. Eventually, the outer world yields to the strength of that declaration. Nothing can resist the steady vibration of truth spoken in faith. It may take time for the visible to align, but the word, once spoken in belief, never returns void. Words of abundance are like light breaking through darkness. They illuminate hidden pathways, attract opportunities, and draw helpers to your cause. They dissolve fear and awaken courage. They are not just sounds. They are living forces. Speak them with care. Speak them often. Speak them until they feel like the truest thing you know. The invisible law listens always, waiting for your command. When your words are rich, your life will be rich. For the word is the beginning of every creation. Faith in unlimited supply turns the invisible into form. The unseen world is the true source of all that you see. Every coin, every opportunity, every structure first existed as invisible substance before it took material shape. Faith is the bridge between that unseen realm and the visible world. It is the spiritual law that transforms potential into manifestation. When you believe, you activate the unseen forces that organize matter, people, and events to fulfill your vision. Without faith, even the greatest effort remains barren. With faith, even the smallest step carries creative power. Faith is not blind hope. It is inner knowing, the deep conviction that the universe is rich, generous, and responsive. It is the certainty that there is no shortage in the divine storehouse, only in human belief. The person of faith lives in two worlds, the visible and the invisible. And they know that the invisible governs the visible. They do not depend on appearances, for appearances are always changing. They trust in the higher law that never changes. When lack appears, they do not tremble, for they know it is only a temporary shadow, not the truth. They speak words of abundance in the midst of emptiness, and by doing so, they summon the supply already waiting to appear. Faith sees beyond the immediate. It looks through the fog of circumstances and perceives the infinite supply behind it. It is the vision of the soul that refuses to be deceived by appearances of lack. The law of supply is always active, but faith is what opens the channel for it to flow through you. Imagine a river flowing endlessly with pure water. If the pipe is clogged, no water can reach your cup, but the river itself is not dry. The same is true of supply. The divine stream never stops flowing. It is human doubt and fear that block it. Faith unclogs the pipe. The moment you stop worrying about how things will come and simply know that they will, the current begins to move again. Faith is the great unclogger of life. It restores the natural flow of good that doubt has dammed up. When you believe in abundance, you become a clear channel through which it can reach you and others. Faith is action in the unseen. It is thought and feeling united in certainty. When you hold a picture of success and feel gratitude for it, as though it already existed, you are performing the invisible act of creation. The law responds instantly to that vibration. It begins to gather the necessary elements, ideas, people, resources, to bring that vision into form. Most people wait to believe until they see results. But the true law is reversed. You must believe first, and then you will see. Faith precedes sight. The seed must be planted before the harvest can appear. Those who insist on seeing proof before believing never receive, for they are trying to harvest before sowing. Faith is the invisible planting that guarantees visible fruit. There is no such thing as lack in the universe. There is only blocked perception. The air you breathe, the sunlight, the ideas that come to you, all are expressions of limitless supply. Faith expands your awareness to recognize what has always been there. You begin to see opportunity where before you saw none. You notice pathways that others overlook. You hear the quiet whisper of intuition, guiding you toward increase. Faith is not passive waiting, it is active alignment with the law of good. It sharpens your inner vision so that you can see the doors that abundance has already opened. When you trust in infinite supply, you move with confidence, knowing that every step is supported by unseen power. Fear is the opposite of faith. Fear believes in limitation, in lack, in the possibility of failure. It focuses on absence and thereby multiplies it. Faith focuses on presence and multiplies that. The person who fears tomorrow invites trouble into it, while the person who blesses tomorrow creates peace in advance. Faith is not loud, it is calm. It does not beg or struggle, it simply knows. It knows that what is needed is already provided. It rests in the truth that the universe cannot fail to support one who trusts it. Every time you replace a fearful thought with a statement of faith, you strengthen your connection to supply. Each declaration of, "I am provided for," clears another block in your flow. When you act in faith, you act as though the result were certain. You give thanks before the manifestation, not after. Gratitude in advance is one of the highest expressions of faith. It declares, "I know it is already done." That vibration calls forth the unseen into form more quickly than anything else. The doubting mind says, I will be grateful when I see results. But the faithful mind says, I am grateful now, because I know the result already exists. This attitude of assurance is magnetic. It attracts all that corresponds to it. Life rushes to meet the one who walks as if already blessed. Faith makes you a beacon that draws opportunities from every direction. Faith must be practiced in the unseen moments, not just proclaimed in comfort. When the evidence disappears, when the bank account is low, when the path seems uncertain. That is when faith must speak louder than appearances. Every time you refuse to surrender to fear, your faith deepens. The invisible world responds to firmness, not hesitation. You cannot serve two masters, faith and fear. The mind must be single, steady, and sure. If you waver between belief and doubt, the flow of good is disrupted. But if you hold your faith like a steady flame in the wind, even the fiercest storm cannot extinguish it. Life honors those who persist in faith. When appearances offer no comfort, faith is creative imagination guided by trust. It is not wishful thinking, for it carries authority. It is knowing that the same power that makes the stars shine and the seasons turn is working through you. When you align with that power, you become a co-creator. The invisible responds to your conviction as if to a command. Faith is the language of creation, and the universe understands no other. Speak it in your thoughts, feel it in your heart, act upon it in your steps. Every time you move forward without visible means, believing that the way will appear, you are exercising true spiritual power. The path reveals itself to the faithful traveler. The invisible world contains endless supply. There is no limit to what can manifest, only to what is believed possible. Faith removes the boundaries of belief. It expands your consciousness to accept greater good. When you believe you can only earn a little, life agrees. When you believe you can receive much, life also agrees. The universe reflects your level of faith precisely. To increase your income, increase your belief in supply. To expand your business, expand your faith in growth. The outer world mirrors your inner acceptance. You do not get what you wish for. You get what you believe in. Faith transforms delay into preparation. When what you desire does not appear immediately, faith knows that the unseen is arranging itself perfectly. It is not denial or stagnation. It is gestation. The seed is developing roots before it breaks through the soil. Those who lose faith dig up their seeds too soon and wonder why nothing grows. Those who hold faith water their seeds with gratitude and expectancy. They understand divine timing. They know that everything unfolds at the right moment. Faith is patient, not because it doubts, but because it knows that what is real cannot be lost. There is great peace in faith. It lifts the burden of control. You no longer struggle to make things happen by force. You allow them to unfold by law. You stop chasing results and start aligning with the cause. You trust that every need is met, every door opens, every resource arrives at the right time. That trust frees your energy, sharpens your intuition, and magnetizes your environment. Faith is not only the bridge between the invisible and visible. It is the light that guides you across it. When you live in faith, you live in harmony with the law of abundance. And in that harmony, the invisible must take form in your favor.